Mother was not kind. When I became a star, of course, like then she was happy because I bought her a house. I did all kinds of things for her. She was my mother. You know, I was trying to make her comfortable because she didn't have a husband. She was alone, but she still didn't like me. Even after I became Tina, Mother still was a little bit, who did that or who did this? And I said, I did it, Ma. You know, I was happy to show my mother what I did. I had a house, I had gotten a car, and she said, I don't believe it. Now, you're my daughter. I know you didn't something to this effect. Yeah, she didn't want me. She didn't want to be around me, even though she wanted my success. But I did for her as if she loved me.
I forgot that you existed. And I thought that it would kill me, but it didn't.
To the girl who said when you cut or go no contact with your mom, shit in life really be coming in terms. Like, for example, when I went no contact with my mom, I got a kitten named Yuki. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but the energy within me just changed. Like, I've gotten so much clarity. I've gotten so much, like, I'm starting to figure out what it means to be an adult. And it's just, it has been like, it feels like something been off my back. So them girls were not lying.
I am a firm believer that most women don't know when someone is trying to destiny swap with them because their mothers were the first people to expose them to it. Like I said in one of my other videos, your mother, especially if she's emotionally insecure or just insecure, period, she has seen your gifts. That's why she's insecure. Now, you may not have even stepped into your gift yet, but she can already see it coming on the horizon, so she squashes it as soon as she can. I've always heard the adage, when a woman has a daughter, she gives birth to the better version of herself. For a normal mother, it would be like, yes, because I want my daughter to do better than me. But if your mother was fucked up, chances are she was trying to steal your gifts, squash your gifts, put you in the closet, claim your achievements as her own. It becomes a very, very sick cycle. And I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. But that's a point that I think a lot of people miss, is that the first destiny swappers are them sick mamas.
If you've ever felt like your own mother doesn't like you, I'm going to explain to you why this is. Many of us look for validation, acceptance, love from our mother. And if your mother never received those things from her own mother, she doesn't know what those things look like. When you're asking someone to be a safe space for you, to take responsibility, to love you and be there for you in a way that you need, if they themselves have never received that, you're like asking them something in like a different language. They don't even know where to start. And the reason a lot of mothers don't like their children is because their mothers didn't like them. And this is a very difficult and real truth that is in the area of generational trauma, because if your grandmother was someone who herself had trauma, herself didn't receive that safety, love, validation, emotional support from her mother, she couldn't have given it to your mother. So your mother ended up having a void within her that was never filled. And now that void is filled with trauma, pain, and suffering that she doesn't even know how to look at if she hasn't self-reflected. So how do you expect someone who has never received what it is you're asking for to give that to you? The only person that could fulfill that void within you is yourself. You can't ask someone who's never gotten love to love you because they don't even know what that looks like. You are the only one that can fulfill that void within you and validate yourself.
You know what I find so crazy is that it be your own mother who be secretly jealous of you and secretly hates you. Like, you could put on this front for everybody else, but baby, I see your soul. Your soul is not good. It's pure evil. You show it. Every time I have something good going on in my life, you never want to say a congratulations. You never want to give a loving type of response. It's always, ow, why are you, ow. It's always something negative, negative, negative. And it's like, you get to a point where it's like, yo, if I have to cut my own mother off, I fucking will. And it will not bother me at all. That's how deep this shit go, bro. Like, people be like, oh, respect your mother, respect your father. Okay, when you do respect them and they disrespect you, you're supposed to sit here and take it? No. You could set boundaries. You don't have to speak to them. They feel like, oh, you have to. I don't have to do shit.
I went no contact with my mother, and here's what no one tells you about that experience. Everyone said she was absolutely lovely. Behind closed doors, she chipped away at me slowly, with silence, guilt, control. I was always the problem. If I cried, I was dramatic. If I spoke up, I was disrespectful. I didn't grow up feeling safe. I grew up afraid of setting her off at any possible moment. When I went no contact, it wasn't easy. It wasn't a middle finger moment. It was grief. It was grieving the mother that I always wanted her to be, and actually accepting the one that she actually really truly was. If you're questioning your own story right now, I see you. You are not ungrateful. You are waking up. Follow along and join our community if you are healing from what no one else saw.
I don't know if I'm just yapping, but growing up with a mom that didn't really like you and was just like mean as fuck to you for no reason really changes your brain chemistry. Like, down to the type of friends that I would have. Like, I literally thought if somebody was mean to me, that meant that they liked me or they loved me. And it just made me cling on to them harder. And it would also give me delayed responses. Like, when somebody was trying to be funny with me or say something slick to me, I wouldn't catch on to it until way later on. Because in the moment, those type of comments just fly right over my head. I'm so used to it. I'm so used to people making random comments about me, saying mean things to me, like just nitpicking me, because that's what my mother did. So it was like super regular for me to have friends that hated me. It was super regular for me to believe teachers that was like really bullying me, because it wasn't like kids bullied me. It was teachers that just had it out for me when I was younger for just no reason. I don't understand how these adults had beef with me or what I did, but they just did not like me. But these teachers would pick on me, and I would still label them as my favorite teachers because I thought that them being mean to me was them just showing me extra attention. Like, I thought this teacher really likes me because they're always picking me out. Even if I would be embarrassed or like sad or whatever at what they said, I just assumed that was their way of showing love to me. And then when somebody is nice to me, I think they're faking it, because that's literally what my mom used to do. She used to be so hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. And I'm trying to unlearn that, because it makes you attract more people like that, especially in your love life in your 20s. Like, that's when I really realized, damn, I got some extra work to do, because I still think that somebody being rude to me is showing love.
So I ghosted my mom in 2019 around this time. So this is like 5 years of no contact with her. I perceived her to be narcissistic. If I could go back in time and like sit next to myself right after I decided to go no contact, I would be like, you're moving towards freedom. You're moving towards healing, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so much, because for your entire life, you were hoping that someday in the future, she would be an amazing mother to you. That version of her does not exist. It will never exist, because she does not want to be that person. She doesn't want to change. Like, if you have someone who wants to lose weight and they want to change their habits, it's gonna be rough, but they want to make those changes and they might be able to do it. But if you have someone who doesn't want to change, believes everyone else is the problem, they're probably not going to change. That fake but happy relationship that you thought you would have, you're going to have to kill off that idea, and it's going to hurt. Holidays are going to go by, and that's going to suck. You're going to go through like a little phase where like you're wanting to be like an Instagram model or whatever, trying to get all of this attention so that way you could feel worthy, but really, like, all of those people in your DMs, they're not going to do anything for you emotionally if you can't see it within yourself. You are going to learn how to validate your feelings, and you're going to tell yourself that it's okay to experience those emotions. You're going to make yourself feel seen. 3 years into no contact, you're going to have like a much more positive outlook on life. That little negative voice in your head that was straight up a hater, that's gonna disappear. And the voice that you do hear in your head, it's going to be a lot nicer to you, and that's just going to make a difference. It's not going to be until 4.5 years into it where you're going to truly learn how to love yourself and care for yourself. You're going to realize that the partners that you chose kind of mimicked your mom or your dad, so they'd either be super controlling and toxic, or they're going to be like super dismissive and avoidant. You're going to understand that you need to break a pattern. And the other realization you're going to have is that you go for emotionally unavailable people. But the surprising part to you is that you're also emotionally unavailable, so that's comfortable for you. Once you're done healing, and once you know what to look for in a relationship and what you don't want in a relationship, you're also going to find someone just like you. Okay, not just like you, but someone who truly understands you and is emotionally available and does make you feel seen and knows how to communicate with you and doesn't make you feel like you need to work for his love, because being your true self is just enough. If I could go back in time and talk to the girl that just went no contact with her mom, that's what I would say.
I knew my mama didn't really like me, let alone love me, when after my daddy died and I hadn't talked to her for like a year, maybe 2 years, and she showed up to my house on my birthday, unannounced, uninvited. I saw her on my Ring camera. Heart dropped to my feet. And I should have known then not to answer the door. But I see her on my Ring camera with balloons in a bag, like for my birthday. And when I opened up the door, she came up into my house and gave me the bag. Y'all, the bag was empty. The bag had nothing but a card up in it. So she had a card in the bag and a balloon. And I knew then that woman hated me. Because, like, why would you show up to my doorstep with an empty bag and a balloon and a card that you didn't even write in or nothing, talking about some happy birthday? Sickness. It's a sickness.
I'm scrolling on here, minding my business, and I see on my For You page, it says,
In that video, she goes on to say that people that wait for their partners to be better are the same people that waited for their parents to be better, and this could not be any more true. I have spent so much time waiting for my romantic partners and friends to be better people, sitting there going based off of potential, all because I was finding remnants of my mom in those people. And because I've cut off my mom and went no contact, there's a part of me that still yearns for her, so I seek it out in other people. And what happens in those relationships and those dynamics when I meet people with high narcissistic qualities or traits, or who are just full-blown narcissists, I sit there and I'm like, oh, they're gonna be better. They're gonna treat me better this time, especially since I've expressed to them how they're hurting me. I used to do the same thing with my mom. Nothing ever changed. If anything, just like those people, the situation would get worse, because those people do not have any empathy for you. They do not care for you. And they know that you're sitting around waiting for them to change, even though they know they're never going to change. But you are too weak and too stuck in a cycle of abuse and trauma to change this outcome of the situation, because you always have the option to leave. So just leave. And I know you're saying, that's easier said than done, Yazzie. It is. But the first step is actually getting up and doing it. Like, you have to make the commitment to do the act of leaving someone who is mistreating you. Because if you never even conspire in your brain to exit out of the situation, it's never going to get any better. And the only way that this situation gets better is by deleting yourself out of the equation. You cannot sit around and wait for someone to treat you with respect and dignity and love. They're not going to do that. If they didn't do it in the initial part of meeting you, it's never going to happen. And you're never going to be able to retrain your brain to think that that person actually loves you and respects you, because it was never there to begin with. The whole foundation of the relationship is based on you being mistreated, and they're never going to change. Your mother, your narcissistic mother, is also never going to change. Leave. Get out, go no contact from your abusive ex, your horrible, toxic, abusive friends, your horrible, toxic, abusive family. Just get the fuck out of there and do it expeditiously.
How does it feel to know that your mother hates you? Don't worry, I'll go first. I don't want to make this into a long ass story time, but I could most definitely put this in a series because I recently went no contact completely with my mom. And although there is a plethora of reasons why I've gone no contact with my mom, this is the one that sticks out the most because it is the most recent. So for starters, my eldest daughter is her favorite grandchild. She will say that, and everybody else knows that. However, when I was growing up, I was like the least liked person that she knew. It didn't matter what I did, what I said. I tried my best to be a good kid, but knowing that she was doing whatever it was that she was doing and things didn't sit right with me, once I got old enough to have a voice, that's when shit took off. She could no longer bully me. She could no longer talk shit to me. She could no longer put her hands on me. And she knew that. And it was almost like when she lost that sense of control over me, that's when we became cool. However, later on into my teens, when I turned 19, I had my daughter with who I had her with. Our relationship has most definitely been tumultuous, from domestic violence to child custody cases to child support cases. My baby is now about to be 10, literally next month. So imagine how long I've been dealing with this. I haven't been with her other half since she was about 1 year old. And since then, my mom has dipped and dabbed in being supportive and then not being supportive, and then being invasive and then not being invasive. So it's been a really like off and on relationship. However, in the more recent times, I will say more so when I left her dad, when I got with my husband, that's when things really started to change and she was showing her true colors. Like, you knew that this man was literally beating my ass. Literally had black eyes, coming home to you, crying to you, doing all these things, and then you want to be best friends with him. You claim it's because I don't let you see your grandchild. However, you don't seem to recall any of the things that you've done leading up to that. So then, of course, years and years go by. I have my son, then I have my baby child. She is not close with either of them. She claims it's because of their dad, my husband, but no, it's because you have a favorite grandchild. And I'm just so sick of like trying to make sense of it, because I know that it is not my life goal to make sense of what the fuck she done and who the fuck she is. But it's really annoying to the fact where I have to literally watch what comes out of my mouth, watch what comes out of my kid's mouth, because my mom is in cahoots with my daughter's dad, who is basically the person that I'm in feuds with. From restraining orders to pop-ups to pickup times, it's just too fucking much. And the court system is fucking draining, bitch. I gotta take time off of work to go and submit these fucking filing all these documents and everything. Then when you would get requested for you to supply your documents, you don't do that. You know, then it comes back to me going to court by myself. You're looking stupid. They want to push out court dates. It's just too fucking much. Mind you, my mom has been in between both sides while we were going through this. So just this past weekend, you know, I was asking her to drop my daughter off because she wanted to pick her up from her dad. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. And it was an issue for her to bring her back because she claimed she was tired, whatever. So I said, all right, I'm gonna come. Now, my mom and my husband don't get along. So when it comes to them being around each other in the same room or anything like that, I try to avoid it as much as possible because I don't want him disrespecting her, even though sometimes it is called for, and I don't want her disrespecting him. And I try not to blur those lines because I hate being in the middle of that shit. So my husband has words, she has words. I go pick my baby up and I have more words with her in person. Of course, it's her defending her stance on everything or whatever, but what struck me the most is how she tried to use as ammunition the fact that we are going through a child support case right now. And she goes, you pulled child support papers on him when he's a working father and a father of 3, and now he's got a whole ass wife. I'm a working mother of 3 and I have a husband, but why the fuck are you in my business like that? Why are you in my business and why are you so far up his fucking ass? This is to any and every eldest daughter who has a fucked up relationship with your mom. Cut that bitch off. Cut that bitch off. and don't let her have access to your children, although she still might try to go through your ex to get to your children. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Stop giving your narcissistic mother access to your personal life. Just stop. Time and time again, you consistently give her information about every aspect of your life, only for her to then weaponize it or to use it against you. She's done this time and time again, and you still haven't learned your lesson yet. Just stop. She doesn't care about what you're going through, the way in which you may care about what someone else is going through. So whatever you're hoping to achieve by communicating that information over to her, it's not going to happen. What you wish to come true will not come true because she is a narcissist. Please move on, move forward, and get yourself a community of people that actually care about your life and what it is you're going through.
Let's talk about the letter that my narcissistic mum sent to my workplace. Okay, this is really fascinating actually, because I've been sharing my story publicly online for quite some time now. Obviously, am I stupid to know that my mum would still be wanting to keep tabs? Am I stupid to think that she's completely disappeared from my life? Even though I've cut her out and I've blocked her, she doesn't know my whereabouts. However, she still unfortunately knows the place that I work. Now, just to give a bit of context, I have got pictures of said letter on my phone. The reason I can't show this online to everybody is because A, it's got my personal work address on there, so I'm not going to be prepared to do that. However, I wanted to share this because this just goes to show the level of behaviour a narcissistic person will go to, the extremes that they'll go to. I know I actually got asked in a comment, am I worried that they're going to seek revenge? And that was a great comment. It's shown that my narcissistic mum is not out for revenge, but she's still out to preserve her false image to the world. The letter starts off by saying, "Hi, Sonam." Then she goes, "We don't understand what's happened to you. Everybody is asking us what is wrong with Sonam." Now, that is a classic manipulation tactic. She is trying to make me feel guilty and make me feel bad that I cut my parents out my life quite a while ago now. But she doesn't realise the reality of my life, and narcissistic people are delusional. She doesn't realise I've got such a strong support system in my life. She doesn't realise that I've had a lot of people on social media reach out to me, just like everybody that watches me. She doesn't realise that I've got really good bonds with the people that I work with and they know of the truth. She doesn't realise that because I have gathered all this evidence over time, nobody's going to believe her anymore. And I think this is why she's done this tactic. I actually feel like this is a little bit of a last resort. She's clinging on sort of like out of desperation. She, just to give context as well, this letter, it's actually a very lazily written letter. She just ripped some paper out of a notepad because you can see the ripped edges on the side, and she's used 2 different pens to try and write this. This kind of shows to me that if I was a mother tomorrow, and let's say, God forbid, my child cut me out of their lives and I had to send a letter as my only form of communication, do you not think I would take the time and effort to write not just one, but pages of, writing, and to actually say, ask about the child, ask if they're okay, ask if they're safe, ask if there's a way for redemption? None of that happened in this small note that my mum sent. It was literally just along the lines of, we've been great parents, look at what we've done for you, blah, blah, blah. It's all about what she thinks she's done for the family, but the reality is totally different. And this is where her being a pathological liar comes into the situation. I also don't want this to deter people from their journey when they're recovering from narcissistic abuse. This might trigger a lot of people. This might make the fear go back into people that, oh my God, if I do detach from the family, or if I make these decisions to have boundaries with people, they might go to the extremes of sending something to my workplace or turning up somewhere. I hate to say it, but you can't predict the moves of other people. The only thing you can do is protect your peace at all costs, protect your energy, and be your most authentic self. The fact that my manager and the rest of my team at work know of my situation, when they received this envelope that had a handwritten address on it from my mum,
straight away they knew that this was behavior that wasn't normal. They knew this was crazy behavior. So the fact that they knew all of this already just shows that they've got some logic in the way that they think, and they knew that this letter was just set out to try and trigger me, to upset me, to make me feel guilty, to make me feel a certain way. Actually, when I opened this letter and read this letter, and by the way, there might be people who are like, oh, why did you do that? You could have chucked it in the bin. I could have done that. However, because I still am in the journey of recovery and healing, I wanted to read this almost, to be honest, to test my own strength in the matter. And because I read this letter and it was literally just no accountability, what's wrong with me, people are talking, it was all about her, my parents, both of them, their self-image, you know, their perception out in society. I actually was so relieved. Like, I actually went from being triggered, feeling anxious, feeling angry, to like absolute relief and calm once I read it. And I'm glad I did, actually, because of that reason. This just goes to show, and it confirms every single decision I've ever made since going no contact with my parents. I am on the right path. I am definitely on that journey to a better life, a happier life, a healthier life. If someone can't even apologize to their child, not that, by the way, for me and my trauma, no, it wouldn't make a difference, but they can't even show a little bit of that humanity to apologize, just goes to show that it's all about her. The only reason she wrote that letter was probably to say to people that she's close to, oh, I did send her a letter. It's also to probe and trigger, because actually to send it to someone's workplace is actually really, you've crossed a boundary there. And even my own manager said that this is not right, this is crossing a boundary. So I think she is actually just showing to everybody she is a narcissist, and all this self-image she's done, the cracks are massive in what she's doing. So yeah, I just wanted to share the story about the letter. The letter has since gone, it's been binned. Like I said, I've took pictures on my phone of the letter, front and back, and the envelope for my own evidence. Because as I've always said to people who suffer from narcissistic abuse, getting your evidence is key. No matter whether you show it to anybody, whether you don't, whatever you do with it, it's a reminder for you to get yourself in a better place from this type of abuse.
Your mother has bad karma. You need to get the fuck away from her. Far the fuck away from her. It's a lot of y'all that don't want to deal with reality. You don't want to believe the truth about your mother. But I'm going to set the record straight, honey. Your mother is a bona fide narcissist. You know what time it is, but you keep giving her the benefit of the doubt because you're loyal and you feel guilty. You've allowed your toxic family, your grandparents, your aunts, uncles to guilt trip you, use the Bible against you to make you feel bad. You're supposed to honor thy mother, honor thy father. You know, toxic family love to use the Bible scripture to manipulate and guilt trip and gaslight you into staying loyal to your abusive mother, and it's wrong. How do you know that your mother has bad karma? Let me explain something to you so you understand by the end of this video. You know your mama. From the time you was a small child up until now you're a grown adult. You have seen your mother's trifling behavior up close and personal. You've seen more of her than the outside world has. So you know her true fucking character. Not only has your mother consistently bullied you, belittled you, gossiped about you, tore you down, stole from you, scammed you, lied on you, threw dirt on your name. You was probably the most loyal out of all her children. You look at your siblings and they're shitty human beings, yet your mother will treat them better than you. You will do more for her than your fucking siblings, yet and still she will shit on you and praise your siblings and do more for them than she does for you, if she does any fucking thing for you. Time and time again, you have forgiven her and given her chance after chance after chance after she has dog walked your ass. Not only has your mama done you dirty since childhood up until now, you have actually seen her do other people dirty. You've seen her scam, abuse, and manipulate other family members. Yeah, You've seen her cheat on her boyfriends or her husband, low down dirty bitch. She wouldn't get rid of the man because, you know, he's trifling too. Don't get it twisted. She knows he's a piece of shit. He may even be a pedo and a predator. Your mama knows it. Your mama knows he lusts after her daughter, but she won't get rid of the nigga. So instead, she'll try to get even with him by cheating back on him. Yeah, that's all bad karma. Your mama is collecting bad karma for all this shit, honey. So you gotta understand, your mother has done more bad than good with her life. And you've gotten to see it up close and personal. See, to the outside world, she might look like a good person because she's always buying people gifts and kissing people's ass to look like a good person. But you have seen this bitch up close and personal behind closed doors. You've seen everything and you know how she gets down. And she ain't shit. Yeah, your mama got bad karma. She has collected nothing but karmic debt. And she's got to answer to the universe, honey. She's got to answer to God, honey. She ain't getting away with shit. She thinks she's getting away. She's not getting away. Now here's where I'm going to get on y'all. A lot of y'all keep giving your mama chances and going back to her. Every time you cut the bitch off, why is it that you seem to do good? You do better. Your life improves. You could be broke as hell, but you're happy and free once you get away from your mama. But you somehow find your way back to her. You move back in with her. You back on the phone with her. You let her back in your life, and she starts that bullshit again. Now you're fucking depressed all over again because you keep fucking with the bitch. That's because you're sharing her bad karma. Every time you allow her back into your space, your personal space, every time you allow her access into your life, you share your mama's bad karma. You share the dark cloud that she's walking underneath. Her pain and trauma and suffering is projected onto you. Therefore, you are sharing her misery and pain. My question to you is, why do you keep putting yourself through it? Why do you keep giving this bitch a million chances knowing she's never gonna fucking change? What is it going to take for you to permanently cut that bitch off? How much more suffering? Don't you realize that the reason why you're chronically ill, a lot of y'all got illnesses, a lot of y'all got autoimmune disease, irritable bowel syndrome, eczema flare-ups, hair falling out, eating disorders, high blood pressure, all because you will not cut your mama off. She's the root of your pain and stress and your illnesses. The body will develop chronic illness from stress. Who is stressing you? Who is triggering you? Your toxic, narcissistic ass mama. But you won't cut her off. You'd rather suffer than to cut that bitch off. Keep sharing her bad karma until she drives you to an early grave and takes you down with her. I'm telling you, cut your mama off. She's never going to change. Her bad luck and her bad decisions, her trauma, everything, she'll share it with you. And she'll laugh at you as you suffer. Because she's sadistic and fucking sick.
I never wanted to forgive my mom. If you're new here, I intentionally cut my mom out of my life for 6 years. And it wasn't until earlier last year that we started communicating again. And to be honest, it felt safe to keep her at a distance for those 6 years. It's really hard to believe after so many years of pain and resentment and anger that I have love for her. I don't know if I see her as my mom or even a friend. I guess I'm still figuring it out. What I do know is that I grieve a lot. I mourn our relationship, especially the days that we were inseparable. When we talk now, my inner child still shows up, scared as hell, full of fear. It's a process healing the wounds that my mom has created. And not even her wounds, but the generations before her that she carried and now I carry and that I aim to heal. It's really, really hard to keep a soft heart throughout the process. If anyone else is out there on the similar journey of healing their mother wound, grieving and mourning this version of what they wanted their mother to be like, but she just couldn't be that for you, I see you. You're not alone.
Your mother set you up for failure. And now she's worried because you were able to get out of the traps that she set for you. We have the 9 of Swords here. So you may have a mother that is on anxiety meds, because we also have this card here. I can't say it, but you see, right? So she may be on anxiety medication, or she may need to be on anxiety medication, okay? She may be very anxious, very worried type of personality. She may use substances or self-medicate to try to keep that, under control, but it's not necessarily working. She may need to add some therapy on with her medication, but maybe refusing to get therapy. But there's something about her personality. She's very anxious type of person, okay? And she's anxious because she set traps for you to fail. She did not want you to surpass her. She may have felt like your personality was too strong. She may have felt like you were too confident. So she definitely wanted to break your confidence, and she wanted to break your intuition as well. She doesn't want you to be able to see her, okay? You see through her. You see her clearer than anyone else has ever seen her, okay? She may be able to manipulate other people. She may be able to put other people under her spell, but you see through her, and that makes her very uncomfortable, okay? We have the 8 of Swords here. So she is a type of person that's just always in her head, very paranoid, may have had some trauma happen to her when she was a child or when she was younger, and it has affected her emotional intelligence. Queen of Cups is here after the Tower, okay? So something may have happened in your mother's life that affected her emotional intelligence, and she may not have been able to show you affection, okay, because we do have love and intimacy here. So she may not have been able to show you affection, or she may have had a wall up to where you weren't able to fully get to know her as a child, but as an adult, you are starting to see her for who she is, okay? So she's very, very nervous about that. She's very nervous about the fact that you are tapping more into your intuition with this higher self card and the Hierophant card, okay? You may have decided to go a different route as far as your spirituality goes, and now you're a little bit too tapped in, okay? She doesn't like the fact that you can clearly see what she's doing. Your intuition is on point, okay? But like I said, you have a fresh new start coming. So you may have recently had a falling out with your mother, or you may have had some things happen in your life and she was not there to help you. She may have caused some of the hardships that you're dealing with right now. And for some of you with this Akashic Records card, it is something that was a part of your soul contract, okay? You all were supposed to have some sort of issues or back and forth or whatever, but it wasn't supposed to get this bad, okay? You all were both supposed to learn from each other, but it seems like you're learning the lessons and your mother is choosing to stay stuck. She's choosing to stay in her head. She is refusing to do the work, okay? Y'all were supposed to trigger each other, but she's refusing to do the work in order to move past that stage, in order to elevate, and you have decided that you want to do the work, you want to elevate. So there may have to be a separation to where you go no contact, where you don't let her know what you have going on, because she's just going to try to sabotage all of the progress that you're making, and she may have already taken some steps to do that. But don't worry, you will bounce back, okay? You always do, and you always will. I hope you have a great day.
If you're a nice woman, you can't be giving women with the spirit of jealousy or envy the benefit of the doubt at all. And if you do, your life could potentially be at risk. There's a current investigation going on right now in Mexico for Valeria Marquez, who was an influencer that was murdered on live stream. And allegedly, a lot of people are saying that one of her friends had something to do with it. The story definitely gave a lot of destiny swapping, and one of my friends even was telling me, she's like, dude, this is like what was happening to you. So let me tell you guys a story time of when I was almost stalked by one of my coworkers. So when I first started working with her, I'm not gonna lie, I did ignore a lot of the red flags that she was giving me because I wanted to be the nice person. And this ended up biting me in the ass because she ended up doing like such weird shit to me. But when the alarms first started ringing was when she would say, oh, I have no friends. Everyone always blocks me. More than 5 people have blocked me. I don't know why. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing to people that so many people are blocking you? We'll call her Miss Creep, but Miss Creep was a fucking fangirl when I first started working. Like, this bitch was up my fucking ass. She wanted to know my routine from fucking morning to night, what I ate, what I drank, what I wore, what I do for fun. And at first I was kind of like, you know, whatever, like, I'll tell her, I'll put her on game, like, because I like to uplift people, and I'm not a gatekeeper in that sense, but now I am. It first started off small, so she first started off by, like, copying my shoes. She copied more than, like, 5 pairs of the shoes that I had. Her sister would even tell me, she would say, like, oh yeah, she seen that you were wearing those and she bought them right after. And I was like, what the fuck? There's even a time too where she asked me like what I did for my day off, and I was like, oh yeah, like I just did some shopping. She goes, oh, can I see what you bought? And I was like, sure. I show her these shoes and she went and bought them right then and there. I was like, dude, I did not think she was gonna buy them like that. And mind you, this girl didn't have money like that. Like, this bitch was broke and she was in a shit ton of debt. And I was like, bitch, you're gonna fucking go into more debt for me? Like, are you okay? She would also constantly ask me about my diet and if I had a workout routine. And each time I'd be like, no, dude, I don't work out and I eat whatever I want. She would get so fucking mad. It's like, I'm sorry, bitch. I'm just built like this. Like, I'm skinny queen. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. But then she started going to the gym and I was like, you go, girl. Like, yeah, better yourself. Like, I get that. On top of her copying like little shit like fucking clothes and trying to copy my lifestyle, she also copied the same exact career choice that I fucking wanted, you know, for years. And she didn't even know about this career until I brought it up to her, and then she's like, oh yeah, I want to go to school for that. So this girl also changed her entire major because of fucking me. But with time, Miss Creep's mask started to fall off like really bad. If I was getting more attention from guys than her, she would get so fucking pissed. And her face was literally like Astrovino. Like, that bitch was fighting demons. Once I started to catch on to this and I was like, enough is enough, I started to distance myself and not tell her like anything about me. I just kept it super professional. She was getting so mad that I wasn't like revealing any details to her. But then she started saying, she's like, oh yeah, like we should write down what our plan is for the next 2 years. And I was like, no, like I'm not doing that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. She got so fucking pissed. Like, this girl, her face could not fucking hide how fucking mad she was. But I was like, yeah, girl, like you've already copied my career choice, my aesthetic. You're trying to copy my every fucking day routine. What else do you need to mimic? Like, girl, get a fucking life. But where I really drew the line, let me tell you guys, this girl lived in another city than me, 30 minutes away from me. One day she tells me, she goes, oh, where do you walk your dog? I want to walk my dog where you walk your dog because there's not a lot of good dog parks around me. I was like, oh, fuck no, this bitch is actually trying to stop me. I was like, oh, hell no. Because mind you, her city was nice. They had a lot of nice dog parks. But this bitch was already so mad that I was creating distance. And she was like, like she just wanted to be closer. And I was like, girl, you don't fucking like me? Get the fuck away from me. It was so weird, guys. That was like where I was really creeped out. It was so bad. But it's already been quite a minute since I worked there, and I fucking left that job because it was getting so creepy and weird. I was like, oh hell no, like this is getting very uncomfortable. I have to remove myself from the situation. But I ended up leaving that job, and a lot of the people that she would talk shit about me to ended up exposing her to me. But one of her guy friends even said that on one night she was super drunk, and she was like, do you think I'm prettier than her? Do you think I'm prettier than her? And she got hella mad at him when he didn't answer her. When he was like, no, like I'm not gonna tell you, like I'm not gonna answer that. That's your answer. After he told me this, I was like, oh hell no, that's fucking creepy, because drunk babbles are really just sober thoughts. And if I'm on your mind that much that you're talking about me when you're drunk, you have a fucking issue that you need to go fucking heal. Because you should be calling your ex or calling like somebody, I don't fucking know. You don't be fucking thinking about some bitch that you used to work with. Like, that's fucking weird. That's just some of the story. There's a whole lot more that she fucking did that was so weird and creepy. But I'm so glad I don't work there anymore. But clearly, like, that bitch still has issues. And I don't take it personal because I do think that she had mental issues. And she also did this to like 5 other girls, so it's like, yeah, something's wrong with her. But there's also a lot of spiritual aspects to it too, because her family practiced Santeria, and that's something that you don't mess with because it lingers on your lineage and on your spirit. If you know, you know. But sometimes, girls, you can't be nice to everyone. You really have to put your foot down where you need to, because if not, it can bite you on the ass. And that was my lesson learned. That was a very fucking hard lesson and traumatic, but never again.
If you identify as a healer, a light worker, or a starseed, it's very likely that you encountered a karmic mother figure during your upbringing. Somebody who was responsible for giving you a core foundation and modeling of what love was what nurturing was, what emotional stability was. And this person may have left you with a very shaky foundation. This was done very intentionally because the false matrix system inherently knows how valuable the mother archetype is, how much she is very much needed within our psyche in order to grow, heal, and evolve. And so the false matrix knew that if they could give you a very faulty, a very shaky, a very inconsistent modeling of what mothering was, that it would shake you to your very core and leave wounds of trauma that would be very difficult for you to undo, even into your adulthood. And that if they could condition you to believe that this was truly what love was, that you would then pass on this false mother archetype in your relationships, whether it be with the people in which you ended up getting involved in a romantic relationship or in friendships, or the ways in which you might mother or nurture in your adult years. This was done on purpose to traumatize you and to continue cycles of trauma on this planet. We can also see the false mother archetype play out with the ways in which we've been conditioned to care for, or really not care for, the earth. We are sustained by the earth's food, water, and air and land, and yet we've been conditioned from a very young age to disregard her and to treat her with a lack of respect. This is also a part of the false mother archetype that we must really break at this time. And so the first step to healing is to understand that you may have experienced a karmic mother in your upbringing. So this is somebody who, even though on one hand it does feel like they love you or care about you, on the other hand, it almost feels as though sometimes they want to destroy you. They want to shake your self-confidence. They want to block your blessings. They want to obstruct your gifts. This is because they may have been conditioned to do just that. Maybe there is a part of them that truly does love you, but there also might be a part of them that is truly programmed to destroy you. It's possible that they also might get some sort of material benefit from doing that as well. But at the very least, they may have experienced their own false mother archetype in their raising, and it just kind of perpetuated that intergenerational trauma cycle. So if you do have a mother figure like this, and they are not doing the healing work, they're not invested in the healing work. A lot of times these figures in our lives are not. They usually can show signs of narcissism, and a lot of times they will you will be the target of their narcissistic projection because you're so close to them. So because they're unable to do the shadow work, if they're unwilling to do that healing journey, they are unwilling to look at and heal their shadow. Well, the shadow has to go somewhere, and a lot of times they just project that shadow onto you. So the first thing to know is, if you are healing from this relationship, that it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you were involved in this particular relationship. You don't have to feel these things, these negative feelings towards yourself. It wasn't justified. You did deserve full and unconditional love, and you still do deserve full and unconditional love. It doesn't make you a bad person for not wanting to connect with this person on a daily basis. It doesn't make you a bad person for choosing to not have this person in your life. Even though they may have nurtured you as best as they could, or they may have brought you into this world, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're tethered to them, perpetuating cycles of trauma onto you and projecting their shadow onto you for years and years on end. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, once you acknowledge that you have participated in this toxic cycle of being involved with a karmic mother, there's a lot of deprogramming that you're going to have to do on your end to make sure that you do break the cycle. It's hard enough to find out that you may have been mothered by somebody who may have, and on one hand, wanted to destroy you in a weird way. That's a lot to take in, and that's a lot to heal from, but that's really just the start. The next iteration of your healing journey is going to be deprogramming your subconscious mind and healing your heart so that you don't carry that same wounding into your bloodline if you do choose to raise kids or give birth to kids or adopt kids. So the buck has to stop with you, and that's truly where the real work begins. And so my other content on this topic will be around how to deprogram yourself outside of this false mother matrix. Take care, and I'm sending you so much love.
And that's weird. Part 2 started acting real strange, but I'm not surprised because the ex that my mom had set me up in a false marriage with, in the military, he worked in telecommunications. So that's what he did for the Army. He hacked abroad. So by doing that, she sent in somebody that they knew they will always have access to my stuff. 2 years ago, I changed my number and my cell phone provider. Everything's still hacked. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you have apps on your phone, as long as you sign into Google, they can hack it. But like I was saying, after what point was I? Because that made me mad. Because I already know what that is, and not really mad, but it's typical. Because these, if you ever like hear anything, people think like targeted individuals are crazy, but they're not. That was her setup. We've been split. Like I said, that can happen. Men, especially if it's going to benefit them. I didn't realize how worse it was, but now let me say this. The guy I was talking about that I knew in high school that was stopped by my mom's house, the last time I saw him, he of course popped up at my mom's house again in like my late 30s or maybe early 40s. And yeah, somewhere around there. And I'll never forget, because at that moment, that's when I said I was done. I would never, ever, ever have anything to say to him, ever. He made a comment. Now, for somebody, this wouldn't have come up. I could tell when somebody is trying to see what I was going to say. But he made a comment because I really didn't want to bother him with him anyway, because he was still the same person. And he was still getting in trouble a lot, doing well, I know he had sold drugs like 30 years ago, but he was still doing dumb stuff. And he made the comment like, yeah, this guy in jail was asking about got a little hustle, something about, you know, with little boys and stuff, talking about, I could see we was hinting at like at trafficking. And I was like, what did you tell him? Oh, I would tell him, how you doing? I could just tell by the way he was trying to gauge to see what I was going to say. And after that, I just got creeped out. I said, you're not going to ask anybody that. So fast forward, it got so bad to where I just eventually just had to cut everybody off. My dad ended up getting sick, and all of a sudden it went from catching pneumonia and needing a knee surgery to having dementia and down within 2 years. And I already knew that was suspicious, especially with the little red marks that I saw. Everything's suspicious about that, but I know that's going to come back up too, because they have done so much. But right after my dad died, that's when I found out that my funeral was planned too. So what they have been doing is heavy heavy. I mean, that's when he got sick, I guess there was like, well, we could get rid of him at the same time. I guess she really thought that everything was going to work because I've been poisoned too. That just happened a few months ago. That's why I was out from social media for a little bit, but we back now. I'm about to be right back on there. But dealing with poison and stalking and all that, and I guess she is so, it's the obsession is just pure creepy. Now, this city is so dirty because with this secret society, number one, I found out that all of these people are into the traffic of children, which will make sense going back from where I was 12, because the first time it happened, which was my very first time, at 12 years old, a friend, we were walking to the store to get candy, and on the way back, 4 guys pulled up. The guys in the back seat, they jumped out. One grabbed her and one grabbed me. Now, I'm glad that nothing happened to her. He just held her down, but something happened to me. Come to find out, they've been doing this. This is a generational thing, and it's strange that my ex and my mom are both from a more rural part of Louisiana, where black magic is well known for being heavily abused. And these people deal with things with children. And I had channel messages, and I did a reading, because on my YouTube channel, which I'm about to get back active over there too, I have a list, because that's what I was guided to do when the messages came in, to give them. Because, telling what she's done, this lady has, number one, she stole my dad's inheritance. I had additional policies put on me. I found out that she went and put policies on my kids, and they have been going crazy with doing the death magics, the poisoning, follow me everywhere, the harassment. It is crazy. But see, I guess I was supposed to be gone by now, because she stole my inheritance, and she was so sure that this, because she has so many people helping her. And like I said, with these secret societies, they're in the courthouses, they're your police officers, they work in the hospitals, the state government, federal. It's so much shady stuff in this city. No wonder why the crime is so high, and it's getting way worse. But it's some foul stuff going on. And the last time I was around them, and that was when, like, my dad passed, I actually moved because I was staying somewhere else. Me and my 2 youngest, well, they're grown now, and I got baited back in by family. And by me, they would even come, they destroyed my car. And then even after they messed my car up, they came back. I mean, they were always paying stuff. They had already cut up and stuffed under the hood, and then came back the next week and threw stuff all on it. Looked like, I don't know what it was mixed up. I'm pretty sure it had something to do with a spell. And then, like, the next week, they'll come and stand in front of the house shooting. I mean, they have paid so many people. And it's, like I say, and by me that last time going back around them, that almost cost me my life. So yeah, now since they're doing all kind of disgusting rituals. So since I've been talking, they really trying to get me up out of here, but that's going to end up backfiring on them. But with toxic, they are set in their ways, and the energy that's coming on, because these geomagnetic storms that we have been having, that is just tearing this matrix down. And people that are not healed, because your consciousness has to calibrate at 500, you have to be operating from your heart space. in order to get a new start. Because this old one is going to look rough. And the thing about it is, with the elders, it is so much destiny swapping because they want, number one, entities are controlling those vessels right now, are heavily influenced. But I know there was never a soul in that vessel. These people are obsessed with destiny swapping because they know this is it. The old cycle is over. And they're not healed. They don't want to heal. And NPCs, they are not getting a new start. So the destiny swapping is getting serious right now. So if you have...
So hey guys, so today I'm gonna tell y'all why I decided to go no contact with my mother forever. Okay, now this might sound dramatic, it might sound like I'm being extra, like I'm just mad. I am not mad, okay? If you know me personally, you know that this is a broken record. You know, this has been going on almost my entire life. Yeah, so, but let me tell y'all what was the straw that broke the camel's back, okay? Let me just run that down. So again, disclaimer, I am not upset. You know, I'm not mad. I've had my time to get upset, be mad, cry, the whole nine, but I'm coming into a new season of choosing myself, and I'm like, yeah, it's just time. Like, life is so short, life is precious. I have two precious boys who I need to be fully attentive to. My mental health needs to be sharp when it comes to them. Like, I can't afford any other distractions, like any other form of toxicity, like nothing, right? So this was a straw that broke the camel's back, right? So this past summer, summer 2023, in July, I lost my job. I was fired. I was accused of getting into it with a girl. They say I threatened a girl, the whole nine. I had issues with management because I was reporting their ass to HR, and they was just trying to find any reason to get me up out of there, you know, but that's neither here or there. I was fired right before school was about to start, y'all. So, you know, if you a mother, like, you panicking. Like, I was panicking. I'm like, all right, I need to find a job. Like, school coming up, school clothes, shoes, the whole nine. I need to get me a car. The whole nine. I was really spending money on rentals to get back and forth to work. Like, it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy. So I'm like, all right, I need to think fast. Okay. But throughout this time, I'm depressed. I'm sad. Like, I was going down a spiral, y'all. Like, and my grandma, she would call me, like, I would tell my grandma, like, Grandma, I'm sad, I'm depressed. And she was like, you know what, just keep praying. If you need my help, I'm here. I'll get the kids school stuff. Like, don't worry. But I'm like, no, like, as a mother, you just don't want to feel like you a failure. You know what I mean? So I'm like, nah. So I jumped on Indeed. I'm applying for everything, y'all, like nursing homes, like, and that ain't even my speed no more, but like, I'm applying for nursing homes and wherever I can get my hands in, and if it's just temporary, $15 an hour, $16, and that's way below me. Like, oh my God. Like, but I, as a mother, I jumped in survival mode. I'm like, I do what I gotta do. So throughout this time, mind you, me and my mom, we not close whatsoever, but my mom, you know, throughout this time, never asked us, okay. Mind you, I just moved back to Cincinnati from Atlanta, so I was like starting fresh. I had only been there. I moved back, the year before that. So I had only been back at the time like 10, 11 months, something like that. My mom didn't check on me. It wasn't like, okay, hey, my daughter's lost her job. She got 2 kids. Let me at least see if she okay. Offer some loving, supportive advice. Nothing, right? Nothing. Okay, cool. But again, this ain't shocking me. Okay, so like I was saying, I lost my job. My mom had a really good job at the post office. Like, been there for years, a long time. Yes, we haven't been seeing eye to eye, but we hadn't gotten into an altercation. We were fine. Like, we were okay. You know, I wasn't talking to her still, but there were like no beef, no nothing. So as a mother, I know what I would do. Regardless of me and my kids seeing eye to eye or whatever happened with me and my children, if my child was to lose their job and they have kids, I'm showing up in any kind of way. That's just me. I'm bringing over food. I'm even just praying over their mental health. I'm doing whatever I can. And by my mom working at the post office, having connects with different jobs in the city, like not even the city, but just, she's a mother, so she's worked at plenty, different jobs or whatever. As a mother, I would think that she would step in and say, hey, even though we don't see eye to eye or whatnot, let me help you out. Let me help you find a job. Like, you gotta give me one, but let me help you. You need help with your resume. Do you need me to take you to any interviews? What do you need? Nothing. She didn't say anything, right? Nothing. Okay. So I had a friend that lives in Cleveland. So she's like, well, apply for Cleveland Clinic. Like, I'm like, so move again. Mind you, I lived in Houston, Atlanta. I just moved back to Cincinnati. Like, I left, came back. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of moving. But I'm not opposed to moving either. So she was like, apply to Cleveland Clinic. Now, Cleveland Clinic is a really, really good hospital. Like, it's like the second best in the world. So she was like, apply to Cleveland Clinic. Like, just come on. I'm like, no, like, I'm not gonna get it. Like, it's competitive, one, and I'm like, two, they might favor people who live in the city or like who's in school for that. Like, I just was discouraged. I'm like, no. So she was like, I'm telling you, go ahead and apply. Like, you will be fine. Like, apply. I'm like, so where I'm gonna stay? She's like, I'll help you find a place where you can stay with me. Like, she's like, just do it, just apply. Okay. So I'm like, whatever. So I applied. Like 2-3 days later, I got a interview invite through my email for a Zoom interview. So I'm like, okay. So I talked to my grandma. I said, Grandma, if I gotta move to Cleveland, mind you, I was living in Cincinnati. If I gotta move to Cleveland, I'm gonna be staying with my friend more than likely, for a couple months. Do you mind helping me out with the boys? Like, keeping them down here with you, keeping them in school. Just let me get on my feet. My grandma like, yeah, no problem. She's like, that's okay. Like, she was like, do what you got to do. So I'm like, okay. So did this Zoom interview. I passed it. I'm like, oh my God. I was shocked. And my grandma she was so happy. She was like, oh my God, that's good. They sent me an invite for a second interview. So I get a link for a second interview. This was more like a, had a feeling like some questions or whatever, and I did that. I passed it. It was like, okay, they want me to come in person up to Cleveland, like, come up there. So I told my grandma. She was like, what? That's good. Like, okay. I'm like, Grandma, okay, but I need a car. Like, can you help me rent a car to go up to Cleveland? Like, so I'm gonna do this interview. She like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, I'll pay you back. She like, not an issue. Right. My grandma, she's like, not a problem. Like, that's my girl. I go up to Cleveland. I do my interview. Got the job. Woo! Got the job. As soon as I got in the car to drive back, I get a text from my sister. Like, I don't know what's going on. Mama just texted Grandma, said she wasn't helping you with the boys. Oh, disclaimer, back up. So I told my grandma about my plans about moving to Cleveland or not to get to work at the Cleveland Clinic. My mom, from what I've heard, my grandma told my mom she would be willing to help my grandma with my kids. My kids was going to school maybe 5 minutes from my mama's house. My grandma lives 30 minutes on the opposite side of town from my mom and my kids' school. So the plan was for my mom and my grandma to help me out with the boys. I'll come home on my weekends or my days off to help with the kids. It'd be like an all hands on deck type thing. So from what I've heard, my grandma told me that my mom was all on board. That's why my grandma was all on board. Like, so I get a text from my sister as I'm headed back home from the interview. She like, yeah, Mama said she ain't helping you with the boys no more. Like, we got to figure out what we gonna do because she's just not helping you no more. So I'm like, what? So immediately I'm like, wait, what? Like, y'all, I was so mad. I started crying. Like, I was crying. Like, mind you, I'm on the highway. I'm full blown tears. I call my grandma. I'm like, Grandma, what the fuck is going on? She like, what? I told her what my sister had said. She was like, yeah, your mom texted me too, going off on me because I got you the car to go up there, and she just said she wasn't helping no more. So I'm crying, I'm hysterical, right? I'm like, oh my God, I hate her. Cause mind you, my mom, this ain't the first time my mom has tried to sabotage like what I've done. Like my mama, she won't help me, you know, won't give me any financial advice, won't give me a stepping stone, a helping hand, nothing. But the moment I dig myself out the hole, she's like, it's almost like a hater, like a jealousy type thing. Like, how are you doing this? Like, I thought you were down. How are you up? Like, how you keep coming out of this, you know? And I don't know, I was so sad. My grandma was like, well, why are you crying? I'm like, because I won't be able to work up here, you know. I was happy and she was like, I'm still gonna help you. My grandma was like, I'm still gonna help you. She's like, why are you crying? Stop crying. You'll be okay. I'm like, but grandma, it ain't fair. You should have to do this by yourself. And my grandma was like, I'll be okay. Now my kids are older though, so you know, and they real good kids, respectful, like the whole nine. So my grandma she's like, I don't mind. She don't mind. So my phone ended up dying for a little bit. And it was a good thing that my phone did die, because I was literally about to text my mama and go clean off. Like she was gonna be every name but the child of God. Okay? Like every name but that. So yeah, that was out, y'all. I was done. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm done. And at that moment, like I cried for a little bit. I was mad. I cussed. I did the whole nine, you know. I said, but I'm done. I said, because when I got fired, you ain't checking my mental health. You didn't see if I was okay, if I needed help finding a job. I didn't even ask for no money. Even if you just help me and say, hey, they're hiring. Call them. Let's do an application for here. Let's try to get you your job back. Let's call some lawyers. Let's see what we can do. Nothing. The moment I dig myself out the hole, you want to sabotage what I have going on? Yeah. So long story short,
I spent the majority of my life believing that my mom hated me. I do not wish on my worst enemy for them to be the daughter of a mother that despises them. Mothers who hate their daughters is prevalent, and I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why she does not like her daughter. These are just my observations from my own personal experience. Your mom hates you because she wanted your dad. She didn't want you. I'm not saying she got pregnant on purpose, but she kept the baby on purpose. She kept you on purpose because she thought it was going to keep him. And when she realized that it wasn't going to keep him, you look like him. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why. Another reason your mom has beef with you, you get the attention she desires. Another reason, your heart is different than hers. She doesn't understand for you to be happy and to love the way that you do.